we're all broken in some form or another. And what I mean by broken, I don't mean because healing is a lifetime journey, right? And we all want to be better versions of ourselves. There are all pieces of all of us. Now, the difference with the people, some of us reflect and say we need to get better, and some of us don't. See, the thing is, we all need to get better in some area of our life, right? And so there's a process that I go through, all right? And the first process is self-reflection. Self-reflection is when I look at me and I look out at how I ended up where I am. How do I have these thoughts? What is it about me? And then once I self-reflect, I become self-aware. Self-aware is, oh, this is what I do. This is why I do it. And then the third part is I develop a new self-concept. A self-concept is the picture I have about me, okay? Now, this is what, and to answer your question, I'll go back. And then the fourth stage is self-acceptance. The problem is this, is some people who are doing these things are unwilling. If you ask them, they're unwilling to self-reflect. They think just because I'm helping other people, ain't shit wrong with me. Okay? And so, but when you self-reflect of why I do this, then you become self-aware, then you realize my self-concept, the picture I have of myself it is not based on me. It is based on the things that I do. Get this, y'all. Get this. Now, who you are will always outlive what you do. But how many of us base our self-concept on what we do? I got a Cullinan out there. I got a Rolls Royce. I make this amount of money. Now, what happens when all that goes away? Now my self-concept is altered. It's fucked up. Now my self-concept is not based in anything valuable because I attached it to what I do or what I have. And that's what I try to get people to do. That let's separate you from what you do. Because if I wasn't Coach Ken is still a nice motherfucker now. Let's be honest. All right? He's still nice.
Yeah.
He's still a great father. He's still a great husband. He's still a great friend. Beyond all of the people that I've helped, beyond all of the money that I've made, beyond all of that. If you take all of that away, because this came to me years ago when I went bankrupt. I was this whiz kid on CNN, QVC, Home Shopping Network. I sold more product on QVC in 19 minutes than they sold that entire hour. I thought I was big shit. I was young. And I based my self-concept on what I did. And when all of that went away, when we went bankrupt, when the feds came and got all my computers, came and got all my desk and everything, my self-worth was tied to that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I told this girl Sweet Elite that last week.
Damn.
I just didn't say that the way you said it, but thank you. I've been looking for the words to tell these people, and you just put it in such an elegant way. Eloquent?
They both.
Right?
They both work.
Yeah. That, thank you for being, remember I told you sometimes I don't have the
Right,
proper way to say things. I just let people figure it out or critique.
No.
Well, now I'm going to take that, put that in my back pocket because it'll end up on my Instagram page. I'll credit you. I'll credit you.
That's
Don't
good.
worry about it.
Hey, you got a big following. Just credit me.
I've been
And
looking
they'll be
for
like,
ways
yeah,
to
Coach
say
Ken
this.
said that shit? Yeah. Oh,
So listen, man.
Rico Hundo said it? Okay, yeah, that's my guy now.
Nah, I'm really big on paying homage and showing where it came from, because we gotta make sure that we understand that we don't know it all, and the only way that we know so much is because we learn from each other, right?
I'm always learning.
I always want to pay homage and respect to the source. That's just how I am. But go ahead, Aaron. I didn't mean to cut you
People
off.
just be faking and you know acting like stuff is theirs.
All of a sudden, it started acting like they created it.
Right. Like there's something
Can't.
new under the sun.
Can't do that.
like,
I don't want to do that.
So my question is this, and I don't even know if you have ever even considered this, but like, do you think that is an American thing, that we associate so much who we are with what we do? One more thing, 2 parts. And when it comes to men and women, that perception, who does it affect the most?
I think it is a cultural thing. And I think in America, we have, think about it, we have perpetuated this image of what success is. And it is money in the bag, which is all of that is great. Driving the nicest cars, and we got all the jewelry and stuff, and nothing wrong with any of that. Nothing wrong with any of that. But I think we have perpetuated that in our culture, so that now kids, you got kids wanting to, they will rob people to get it. They will do, because this image means so much. Now, yes, I do think it's a cultural. The second thing was, your second question was what now?
Just how does it affect the sexes? Even when it comes to relationships, when it comes to a marriage.
Sure.
Like, do you think that when you apply that concept, and those who rely on what they do and what they have as what makes them, who does that more, and I'll actually say more detrimentally, not even just affect people, like who does that affect more detrimentally?
Wow, that's a good question. From a dating perspective or a relationship perspective?
Whatever you think.
See, and the reason I say that is because let's think about it, y'all. Okay, I'll give you a prime example. If women did not exist, would men go try to buy Cullinan?
No.
Maybe not, I guess.
I would say 0.0001%.
Hey, would men have a gold chain on if women did exist? Now, I want you to think about what I'm asking y'all. Would men try to, get their bodies right? I mean, would they? More than likely, no, because what we're doing is we know that women are attractive. Would you get, if just women were around, would you get your hair cut, nails done, women?
Honestly,
you
I
might. If it was just women, I don't know. Would you?
I feel like I would, but I was also thinking that about men, because
Same. Yeah.
I think that even if women didn't exist, men low-key be competing with each other.
Men partner with each other more than compete with each other.
And I'm thinking that specifically when he asked about the cars, and I'm like, do they get cars for bitches, or do they have cars to say that they have a better car than the next man?
Listen,
Right.
Let me.
But my bad.
Go ahead.
But to say I have a better car than the next
It's for
man,
the bitches.
It's for the bitches. I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was gonna say it's for the bitches now.
Actually, I thought of in my thoughts, I was thinking that as well.
That nigga got a
So that's why I
Toyota.
didn't say nothing.
This is a Cullinan.
Right. It's for the bitches.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just
To be
so
honest, we
clear.
probably would never. Let's be real. We built the Cullinan. We probably wouldn't even have built the shit.
You probably wouldn't have. Everybody got a pickup truck. I mean, we're going to go get the wood to build a house. I mean, and the reason I say that is because who does it hurt most is what your question was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it hurts us all equally.
Because of the effect.
Yeah, because of the effect. But I think it also helps us. I think it also helps us too. And then you might say, well, how does it help us? I think it helps us bring out a part of us that maybe we didn't know was in us. Because a lot of us strive for stuff. We didn't know that we had the ability to, I didn't know I had the ability to have 1.2 million followers unless I'm striving to do it. But I'm striving because my wife, because she encourages me, and I told her I'm going to build this. She was like, damn it, build it. Let's go build it. And I feel like I can jump off the roof. Because if she wasn't around, like, I ain't building shit. I'm going to just go to my room and I'm going to eat this, whatever. I'm just saying. And so I think it can hurt us in perspective. I think it also can help us too. And I don't ever want to look at just one side of it, because there is a cause and effect for everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's always everything, like I look at when I went bankrupt years ago. The bad side, I went bankrupt, I lost everything that came out. But the good thing is that helped me to become the man I am today. One of the best experiences I ever had. Now I can manage business. I can grow business because I knew what I did wrong. So I go back to what I said earlier. If you change the way you look at things, you change what you see.
Yep.
If you, I looked at
Say
first.
it one more time, Pastor. Come on now.
Past
If
it.
He's a pastor.
Pastor. Wow, that's a compliment. I don't know if I can walk in those shoes, but I will say, I said, if you change the way you look at things, you change what you see. Cause see, at first when I went bankrupt, Rico, I'm like, God, everybody gonna talk shit about me. I'm like, God, how did I end up here? All of that. But all of a sudden, when I begin to look at it differently, I'm like, wait a minute. I asked myself a question, and this is how I started to change people. Is it possible that what I experienced could be good for me or could be good for others? When you ask the question, your brain goes to another place and say, it could be possible. That was when I got up and I said, I'm going to write my first book. I wrote my first book, God, I Ain't Trying to Hear All. That was my first
That's
book.
a great title.
It is.
Because, at the time, God was trying to show me, look, you got the talent to build it, but you ain't got the character to keep it.
Sheesh.
Say it again, Pastor. Boy. He over here dropping, but hey.
No, this
Our
what he
viewers
said.
are going to be like, there was a pastor that 1 week.
No, seriously. My buddy I can't take credit for that. My buddy told me, he said, yo, Ken, you had the talent to build it, but you didn't have the character to keep it. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. My friend over there, my best friend over there, he's my operation director. But when I went through this, and I tell everybody, I had a custom Volvo. Like it was brand new. Back then, an 850. At that time, I had customed it out. They built it from the factory, and it was black with tan seats. I had custom suits back then, everything custom. And I remember when I lost everything, everybody abandoned me, except for that man and my current wife. And I just sat there and I cried. I'm like, how did I end up here? And so this is what happened. But then all of a sudden, when I reframe, there's a technique that I teach people. It's called reframing. Reframing things that happen to you. So I begin to reframe it to say, wait a minute, this that happened, I could turn it into something good. That's when I knew how to build it, I know how to keep it, but I could teach other people how to build a business at 23, at 24, 25. And then when I reframed it, my brain began to accept it. I want y'all to hear this. A belief is nothing more than a thought. A belief is a thought or a statement that you accept as true. So a belief is a thought or a statement you accept as true. So I begin, before that day, I didn't accept the belief, the thought that it could be good. But that day I accepted it and it became my belief. Now, 8 books later, 500,000 books later, that day I sat in my house with the windows drawn, they repoed my car, so I ain't have a car.
What about the Volvo? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Custom from
Where's that
Germany.
custom Volvo now?
The custom Volvo. Listen, and I gotta tell y'all something. It's people there that will help you. I remember they were looking for the car, and I was hiding it at the time, and so I called. I called the lady. I said, "Listen," I said, "Ma'am," and I was young. I said, "Listen, they gonna reap. I know they looking for the car." And I know, and I told her these words. I never forget it. I didn't believe it, but I just said it. I'm gonna rebuild one day. I said, if I turn this car in, is there any way you will not put a repo on my credit? And this lady, black lady, I knew the voice. She said, okay, let me tell you how I knew. She said, listen, baby. She said, listen, baby. I said, oh. She said, listen, baby, this is what I want you to do. She said, you take the car up to the Dire and Dire Volvo and you leave the keys under the mat and just park it in front of the service. It was like 9, 10 at night. Just park it there, right? And she said, let me take care of the rest. And out of all that, I never got a repo on my credit.
Shout out to you.
Right, Miss Daddy hooked it up.
She was like, baby. That's how I knew she was black. When she said, baby, I said, okay.
Wait, did she answer the phone like this? Hello?
It changed. It changed.
Oh, she was cold
She said, I
switching.
need to help this black man.
Yeah. But she could hear the anguish in my voice because I told her I'm going to build this again. And I said, you know, I made some mistakes, but I'm going to come back. One day she said, okay, baby, I'm going to help you. I don't know that woman's name, but I just know the impact that she had on
Miss Betty.
Miss Betty.
We're just gonna call her Betty. I don't know. That's one of my auntie names, so I feel like.
But I think that's important. Like, in that story, I think a lot of times, and I've done it myself, I think most people do it. When they go through the fire, they'll keep on trying to run around it. And all you gotta do is face it. And you'll be surprised how easy it is to get through it once you just face it. And I think that's the thing that you did. You know, it takes a lot of encouragement. It takes a lot of just a lot of acceptance. You know what I'm saying? Like being able to stop resisting what's going on to say, you know what? This is the issue. This is the truth. This is my current reality. And then I believe in God. God had then put the right pieces in play to try to help you throughout the situation.
I believe that.
You know, because God forbid you didn't do that, you probably have a different outcome.
I believe that. I truly believe. There was a movie. You talk about movies. I got to watch that movie that you said, y'all. Before we leave, don't look up. There's a movie called The Butterfly Effect. Have you seen it?
Yes, of course.
I've heard of it.
Great movie.
Great. Was it great?
Great movie.
The Butterfly Effect changed how I look at anything.
Oh, I need to go back.
Yeah, great
Oh,
Movies,
This
one
movie kinda
book.
old. I didn't get out.
It is old.
Ashton Kutcher.
He has the
Oh
list.
my
Not me.
gosh. Jesus. Miss Allen.
Oh,
It's a great movie.
great
What happens
movie.
in Vegas? That's what you're talking about?
No, because he's saying Ashton. What happens in Vegas?
Sorry.
It's Allen always getting me sidetracked.
But that's his job, you know. That's his job. No, but that movie helped me to look at life differently because everything we do has a cause and effect. And what happened, long story short, I want you to watch it. But if you ever watch it, they did something that caused somebody some harm, right? And they didn't mean to. They didn't want to. But they went back and played out had they done something different each time. And each time, the outcome, there was always some adversity in it.
Yep.
Always. And I was like, wow. And so that made me say, you know what? Everything we do, there's a cause and effect for it. Everything. And so had I not done that, do I believe it would be different? Sure. I don't know how, but I believe it would. Can we get people to see that less is more? You know, if I try to accumulate less, have less, that in the end, that I'll be more or I have more. I think we're fighting an uphill battle. You know why? Because we have a culture that says more is more.
Yep.
And in this culture, we are conditioning people to believe that more is more until you've had more and you realize, don't nobody really give a shit about what I got. They talking about me anyway. It's the people who are around me just because I have something, that's not real. And you don't realize that only wisdom brings you that. Age, wisdom, experience. Because a lot of times when we get, you know, like I look at Floyd Mayweather. I'll give you an example. Every one of his posts, he got money just hanging around. I mean, he just throwing money. He's throwing money. You know,
Sound effects.
somebody throwing money in there. And I'm like, and I look at the post, and I'm like, here's a man who's made hundreds of millions of dollars. Why does he need to show us money every time? Why? Because there is something about that he needs validation. Even though he's one of the greatest boxers ever. One of the greatest boxers ever, but I got to keep showing you money. And so what I'm saying is we're in a society who rewards, validates, prop up people who we think have more. So it would be an uphill battle to tell a person, especially a young person, that less is more when they're looking at people who they think are happy.
I'm sorry.
No, and I was going to say, and the last thing I was just going to say is that you get to a point where you realize that happiness is not something I can manufacture. It comes from the inside, but we're looking at external things to give us internal satisfaction, and it will never happen.
Ever.
But that was my point. So
Alan was talking about how we are kind of like subconsciously, or Alan mentioned how we subconsciously practice being unattached, right? I don't think everybody, but for example, like you unattach yourself to people's emotions throughout the process of helping them, rebuild or rekindle their relationships. And there is an old saying from Wayne Dyer, and he says, remain attached to nothing but open to everything.
I love it.
And that's the key.
All right, Rev.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Now they go, Rego. Look, so
Now you
that's a
throwing
deacon.
Rev on him?
No, I'm a pastor. He's a deacon. He's a deacon, right?
But
he on the deacon board.
He on the deacon board.
I'm just working my way up. You know what I'm saying? But no, but I
I don't know if y'all know.
You better take it to church.
I've been changed. You know I know.
But I
From
think
the
it's
South.
important, and I think that people gotta. It's easier said than done,
Sure.
1,000%.
right? It's easy to say don't be attached to the person who broke your heart and shattered your dreams, right? It's easy. It's easy to say don't be attached to all the money that you put into a company, and you had to dissolve it, right? It's easy to say don't be attached to these things, but it's important to understand that, just like you were just saying, everything that you're attached to is external.